Okay, here's the thing. You're finally consistent, right? Good. Like props to you. But I mean, let me just like kind of congratulate you because you do not belong to that 99 percentile of the people that live in the world that has a hard time being consistent. And that's really the only problem that they have right now. It's not motivation, it's not drive, it's like, that um determination, that discipline to be consistent, which you have solved. Absolutely fine. Congratulations to you. No problem with that. What I'm addressing in this video is specifically for you. Like if you're watching this video, you're consistent, but you don't know what the fuck you're doing in the gym. Maybe you do, different exercises every single time you hit the gym, all of that stuff. You don't have a plan, you don't have a workout program, all of that stuff. This video is going to be me trying to convince you to finally have some kind of plan, finally have some kind of workout program, finally have some kind of like some thing, like some tangible thing that you could address to basically when you want to um track your progress, right? Because I was in this trench of thinking that, hey, if I just show up to the gym, train as hard as possible, I should be fine, right? And I couldn't have been more wrong, right? The reason for that is if you're not tracking your progress, you don't exactly know how much you're progressing, right? And I know numbers is something that's actually quite tangible that you could look forward to when it comes to tracking your progress. I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that, and not necessarily you have to buy my program, right? This video is not going to be like, this entire video is not going to be me trying to pitch my workout program, no. Which, by the way, if you're like an intermediate, like an advanced level lifter, you can always check the top link in the description. It's a power building training program. Even the disclaimer, it's not for beginners. It's only for intermediate level lifters and for advanced level lifters, right? So don't say that I, like just keep preaching my training program, which, by the way, it's a power building training program, right? If you want to get jacked as fast as possible and strong as fast as possible, make sure to check the top link in the description. But getting back to the point is that the reason you need something tangible to track your progress is that I'll give you like an example, like a real life example that you would relate to 100% if you're watching this video. You're going to the gym, you think that, oh shit, like what's the like weight that I hit yesterday, or what's the weight that I hit the previous week on dumbbell press? Was it like 20 kgs? Was it like 25 kgs? I can't even remember because it's been 1 week, right? Like, don't pretend that your memory is super good because it's shit. We all know. So that's the reason you should be having some kind of tracking sheet, some kind of, some kind of sheet, some kind of form that you fill out that, okay, I went this many amount of rests for this many amount of sets for this much weight this week, right? Based on your training program and based on the, whatever the training program says, you increase the reps or you increase the weight the next week, right? Like that's how training program works, right? And that's exactly the reason you should be having some kind of tangible thing that you should be looking forward to every single day, tracking your progress, seeing if you're even progressing or not. If you're not, then make sure to watch my other videos. That's going to tell you, even if you are training really good, what are the other things that you should be like focusing on that might be the reason for you plateauing in some weight, or like plateauing in some like rep range, and you might not like you're not seeing like incredible results week after week after week, which you should be seeing if you have all the things dialed in, right? So now do you see like why it is so important for you to have a plan, for you to basically have like a training program that you could look forward to when when it comes to tracking your progress, right? And like I said, the top link in the description for beginners, for intermediate level lifters and advanced level lifters, right? But it's not necessarily the best program in the world. Like there is no such thing as the best program in the world, right? What I will tell is that this is how you basically, make your own training program, right? I'm trying to like give you as much, a value as possible, because at the end of the day, doesn't matter if you buy from me, I still want to provide as much value as possible so that you could have something like the knowledge in your mind to basically create your own training program, because not all the training program in the world is suited for you, is catered for you, because you live a different life from most people. You have like, maybe different metabolism, maybe different, like recovery rate, maybe different personalities, maybe different preferences when it comes to, maybe you like to train heavy, maybe you like to train like a bodybuilder, whatever that is. So yeah, this is how you basically train, create your training program, right? Which is, first you need to basically see that what kind of lifestyle do you live, right? If you're someone who has a day job, if you're someone who's going to the school, if you're someone who is, like maybe going to the college, you should really cater your entire, like day-to-day activities also, when it comes to when you're thinking about how to make your training program. The reason for that is, like, that's also some kind of physical activity. Maybe you walk, maybe like, use bicycle, maybe, like you sit all day, like in the office. That's also some kind of fatigue that you are giving your body, right? So if you're going as hard as possible for 6 days a week, for 2 hours, for, like 2 times a day, you can't, like, that's not sustainable, because not only you are accumulating fatigue from your training in the gym, but you're also accumulating fatigue from your work, like your craft that you do from day-to-day basis, right? So yeah, keep in mind that, your daily activities, your daily lifestyle, right? If you're someone who has a really tight day job, night job, whatever that is, you're going to the school, you're going to the college, whatever, whatever, try to experiment. Like, maybe go to the gym 5 times a week, 4 times a week, right? Maybe do some kind of hit cardio other days. The other days a week, right? You don't have to train in the gym all day, all week, right? That's what I say, that when it comes to like experimenting, experiment, dude. Like, your lifestyle is pretty much, like really different from others. So experiment what works for you. Second thing is that you need to keep recovery in mind, because if you're not recovering, I've said again and again and again, and I stress so much about it, and I'm going to make an entire video on, like, how to recover like an elite, um like performer, and like an elite athlete. So yeah, like focus on the recovery part of your like lifestyle, because if you're not recovering, not only you're going to feel depressed, which, by the way, feeling depressed is real, depression is not real. I'm not going to get too much into that, because I'm trying to keep this video into, like, fitness and health and all that stuff. But yeah, you'll feel depressed, you'll feel anxious, you'll just feel like shit, okay, if you're not recovered. Like, because energy is something that can be divided into many ways, right? It is divided into you feeling good, and also recovering into your muscles, right? So if you haven't recovered, if you hadn't had a good enough sleep, if you don't eat good enough foods for like all of those tools, all of this nutrition that you need to give your body for it to recover, if you are not taking care of these things, right? Not only you'll not be able to perform really good in the gym, you'll not be able to perform good in your day-to-day activities, right? There's no point in adding an extra stress by training super hard and then not taking care of your recovery. So this is my advice, is basically take, like recovery in account, right? If you think that you cannot really go as hard as possible in the gym because you really have a tiring day job or like a night job, whatever that is, you have a really tiring job that is very physically demanding, right? So you think that you cannot really go based on the diet that you have, you cannot really go as hard as possible, then dude, like, just train for 60 minutes every day, right? And that's really a good advice, because think about it. If you have a really tiring day job, right, you probably need more rest than more training. So rest more, train for 60 minutes every single day, and go really hard on that. You don't need to train for 2 hours really hard. Train for 60 minutes, train for 40 minutes, train for 30 minutes every single day. That's how you build discipline, and you're also training, you also see results, and you're resting more than I'm spending time on the gym. That's how you should be creating your training program. And by the way, like, if I start like giving out training programs for each and every like, aspect of your life for each and every different person, this video would be like maybe 5 hours long. That's why I'm giving you the frameworks that you should be following for you to create your own training program, right? So that was like what point number 2. Point number 3 is basically keeping in mind that you don't overtrain some body part or you undertrain some body part, right? create a training program that adequately trains every single body part, based on how, like what's your weak point, what's your strong point, right? At this point, chest is my strong point, right? And my training program is kind of catered to me training my arms a little bit more. So that's how I, like created my training program, right? Um, yeah, so, create a training program that trains your body part adequately, right? Right. So you don't feel too sore in your back, and you can feel your chest or your legs or whatever that is. No, don't do that. Like, create a training program where you're training each and every body part equally, maybe a little bit more on the muscle or the body parts that you lack a little bit, and even a little bit less on the body part that you already have, like a decent size. For example, that's, chest for me. And yeah, the last part is basically what you enjoy. You know, create a training program that you enjoy. If you enjoy strength training, by all means, do kind of strength training. If you enjoy hypertrophy, by all means, train like a bodybuilder, no problem with that. And like I said, if you have a really, tiring, physically demanding job, create a training program that you enjoy, rather than, excruciating pain whenever the fuck you go to the gym. Like I said, train for 60 minutes, train for 40 minutes. That's what you would really enjoy, rather than, being already tired and then, training 2 hours a day in the gym. No, you really wouldn't enjoy that. Trust me. What you would really enjoy is, like recovering and then pushing yourself hard the next day. So yeah, like, create a training program that you really enjoy, because if you keep these things in mind and then, like create a training program, you would be able to sustain it for a really long time. Then you can change it once you have, gotten bored of it. No problem with that. But, top link in the description, if you are someone who is like an intermediate level lifter or like an advanced level lifter, that's my training program. It's like a power building training program, which is conducive to you getting as jacked as possible and as strong as possible, right? Which, by the way, this is a really physically demanding training program, which if you don't, recover good, if you don't have good enough nutrition, you shouldn't probably check it out. But if you do, it's going to make you jacked as, like, like the fastest way that you could imagine. And, you're going to get strong the fastest way you could imagine. Yeah, that's all I need to say. Peace.